Hey, welcome to this segment. Tonight we saw No Escape in the lap of luxury at a Luxury Plus Galaxy Theater. We're kind of changing up the format a little bit, and probably we're going to do so for the next few weeks, because for the next few weeks, there's some movies coming out that aren't going to draw a large audience. And the way that we do these movie first fan reviews is that we talk to people as they're coming out of the theater, and if there's only 30 or 40 people in the theater, there's not enough people to grab in time to do the interview while we're talking to other people too. So I brought along a movie producer that I know. He makes independent films. I consider him a movie expert. He has an actual IMDb page, and he's a SAG actor as well. So I wanted to get his review of the movie and kind of do an in-depth thing with him. And also, we did talk to a couple of guys who did see the film, and so we have those interviews as well. So enjoy. All right, so Kevon Hewitt. Am I pronouncing that right?
It's actually Kevon, but
Kevon. Kevon. I've always called you Kevon, but
That's
Kevon
right.
is right. Let the audience know a little bit of your credentials. What makes you, you know, a movie expert?
Well, I don't know about expert, but you know, I'm actually a SAG actor, but I'm also a director, writer, and I do produce my own short films. And now I'm doing an actual full feature film. So I think I have some background in it, you might say.
More of an expert than I am, at least. But I want to ask you about what you thought about this movie. What's your first impression? We just saw it seconds ago. What do you think?
Absolutely intense. I mean, I was surprised, actually. I really wasn't sure how the movie would play out, because, you know, you see the actors for what they are. You've seen them in comedy, perhaps. And I wasn't expecting them to be in a very serious, intense film. And I found myself really drawn into it.
All right, so what do you think of the movie?
Overall, in one word, probably just intense and kind of eye-opening and jaw-dropping all at the same time. That stuff like that could be going on, or is going on, in certain parts of the world. It's pretty crazy.
And what do you think?
Honestly, I think Phil just knows me so well, because he just read my mind. I was thinking the same two words, honestly. Intense and eye-opening. Definitely like a makes you think about yourself being in another country, and especially even if you're just traveling on vacation. What if shit hits the fan?
Now, one of the reasons we're doing this change in pace, as I already mentioned, is that there was just not a lot of people that went to go see this movie. Why do you think that is? Is it like bad advertising, or is it?
No, I think the trailers are actually you know, very, very good. I think the problem, you know, it's a summer film. And the problem with the summer, there's lots to do. So what I'm going to say to you is take the time and go and see it, because I think, especially at Galaxy, my goodness me, one of the greatest theatres out there. I mean, so comfortable. But you're going to get not only the big screen, but you're actually drawn into the sounds and the motion. I thought it, you know, for me, it okay, it's not a 10 out of 10, but it's a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's a darn good film.
I got the impression after watching it and during it that it was a solid film.
Yeah.
I did feel, though, that in a way, I can't imagine this being anybody's like favorite movie ever.
No, I agree. I agree. But I think it's one of those movies that you've got to see. Because especially if you've got children, I think you can really kind of get caught into the whole film, and how would you have handled that, you know? So I think they did a great job of really touching, you know, the whole humanity side of it.
So do you think the family felt real?
I thought it was awesome. You know, I hate to say it, but I'm not a really big fan of children in films. I think sometimes you can sense that they're acting. I thought they were very, very good. It was,
you know what? Now that you mention that, I didn't even watching the movie, and just after, until you said that, I didn't even think about the kids. And in terms of really, they didn't catch my eye, and that's a good thing.
Yes,
because
no,
typically, I'm thinking, get this kid out of here, and let's get to the business. And I want to bring up Zombieland, a movie that came out a couple years ago, because it had the same kind of family dynamic. And I felt like on Zombieland, they're like, okay, let's get the kids out of the way, let's take care of them, and then let's get to the action. They kept the kids in the whole movie, which I thought was, with the way that they acted, it was real.
No, and exactly that. I think they captured the reality of it. I thought it was awesome. You know, the way they encapsulated that whole fear factor. You know, it was very good.
And what about Owen Wilson and Pierce Brosnan? Was this movie cast right, do you think?
Yeah, and actually, let's mention Lake Bell. I thought she did a great job as the wife. You know, I thought the casting was excellent. You know, if I can just kind of break away to maybe more of the the producer side and filmmaker side rather than just the consumer. Obviously you want a great script, you want a great location, which I think they had. Casting is so key. You get the wrong people in there. And I think maybe, on paper, it probably wasn't the strongest, casting. But when you actually see the film, they got it spot on. I thought it was very, very good. The action scenes were quite fantastic and very, very real.
I liked that they're definitely there's some big things going on in this movie, but I felt like it was seemed realistic in terms of not too big. Let's bring up reference another movie, that earthquake movie that just came out, San Andreas, I think it was called. That felt a little too spectacular sometimes. This one felt.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you can overdo it. I think it was good. It just felt like you were in the country where they were at, and the gunfire was real. Everything just felt real. Yeah, it wasn't over the top, not.
And I like what you said about the location and the kind of the feel of the film. Now, because I agree with that. In terms of like spatial orientation and the camera work and stuff like that, did you think that was done well, or do you?
Well, it's a good question, because I felt overall it was pretty well filmed, but in the beginning I felt the camera, for me, was at least moving too quickly, and I felt a little seasick, just because of the way the camera was moving around. But once it got into the actual action, I thought it nailed it. Okay. I thought it was really, really good.
So, would you almost feel like they were using their action techniques when they shouldn't have been, like because the camera was too shaky on this more when it wasn't supposed to be action going on? Or?
Well, I think it's the style of filming. I'm not necessarily, obviously.
Oh, yeah, almost that reminiscent of that 24 series or something like that.
Right. And I think his name's Erick Dowdle, I think was the director. And obviously that's where he wants to direct his film. And I think it was good. I'm not criticizing it in any way. I just think for me it was a little awkward in the beginning, the camera moving too much. But once it got into the action, I thought it really was superb. It really was.
All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to add or talk about? Or?
Well, like I mentioned, I think it's a definite go to the movies and watch it. It's gonna. I'm frightened it's gonna slip through the cracks. Because of the summer. And I think it's a film that if you don't go and see it at the movie theater, great, watch it on video. But I think you're just gonna miss the absolute encapsulation of it and the intensity. For me, definitely go and watch it. Yeah, that's what I would tell you. 7 out of 10, definitely.
All right. So like a solid go see the movie. Yeah. It's not going to, take down Avengers or anything like that, but it's definitely a solid. You're not going to waste your money, and you're not going to leave angry.
Well, and especially, obviously we're here at Galaxy. Yeah. It's well worth the money. Good. Yeah, I think it's a solid, like you said, solid movie, well worth the money, and definitely worth going to Galaxy to watch it.
And if people want to look you up and look up your projects that you're working on, you have an IMDb page, right?
Yeah, I do, actually. It's Kevan Paul Hewitt at IMDb. It just covers some of the stuff. Kevan, Kevan Paul Hewitt, Hewett. So pretty easy to go for.
Great, and we have some other movies coming up in the next couple of weeks that I suspect are going to have a very small turnout. And by small turnout too, I want to clarify. The way that we do these first fan reviews is we talk to people as they're coming out of the movie. So if there's like 30 people in a movie, by the time we do the first interview, like 20 people have walked by already. So by small crowd, I don't mean that these movies are bombing by any means, but it's kind of hard to catch 5 or 6 interviews when there's only 10 or 20 people in the theater. So anyways, we'll have you on again, and I think the next few weeks for sure. And I think I like talking with you. I think the crowd's going to like you too, and I think we can do something with this here on Blue Number Media, and maybe a continuous thing.
Well, I'd be very open to doing that. Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. Come on.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Would you recommend seeing this in the theater or on the rented at home? What do you think?
I guess it's to each his own. In the theater, it's intense, like you said. I was kind of not finding a comfortable position sitting there. I felt like I had to put my feet down or something. But also, it might be one of those ones that you would want to rent. Kind of like a lot of people talked about The Passion of the Christ. They didn't like seeing that in a theater because it was so intense. But this one, they might need to watch at home and just kind of reminisce about what was really going on with it. So.
What'd you think?
Yeah,
theater or rent it?
I definitely wouldn't. If I had kids in the family, I definitely wouldn't show that to my kids. Definitely glad that's rated R.
So you think like probably bring a friend to the theater like you did? Was that a good experience?
Yeah, actually he brought me. So.
Okay. Cool. All right. So it sounds like a recommendation. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's what we had to say about No Escape. Now go ahead and give us your review, comment below, let us know what you thought of the movie. The next time you got to see any new movie, check out a Luxury Plus Galaxy Theaters because it's an amazing way to see any new film in the lap of luxury. Subscribe to this YouTube channel because we're going to be back here next week with more First Fan Reviews. We'll see you then.